Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Nintendo Review Podcast. We're back from a slightly weird week. It was not a weird week, it was just a Nintendo Direct, so we did it a little bit differently. We were supposed to be three mini podcasts, but we had three epic podcasts, so we hope you enjoyed those, and we'll do those probably every big event. Do you think, guys? You think we'll probably do that for E3 and things like that? I think that's fun to do. Yeah. I enjoy doing them. But as always, I am here with Greg and Lee. Greg, you went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning last night? Or was Lee joking?
Maybe about 3:30.
Oh my god.
I got a message when I came in this afternoon. It was like, I'm just about to eat lunch. Greg is still awake.
Yeah, like me and Darren were playing Rocket League last night for a couple, and then he went to bed, and I thought like I might go to bed as well. But then I stuck Hollow Knight on for a wee bit and got to another bench and thought, alright, I'll leave it there, go to bed. But for some reason I clicked on Rocket League again and played another 7 matches, so yeah.
Did it crash?
It didn't.
Maybe they fixed it.
I hope so, although I usually find like every time it did crash, I think it was generally like whenever you're like in a team with other people, you know, like whenever you invite people to your team. So I don't know, I'm not 100% sure just yet, but promising.
Looking good. I don't think I've played not in a team since launch. I just don't play it unless I'm playing with friends. And when I say friends, I mean you. How you doing, Lee?
I'm good. We're going to add a little game to our podcast from now on and until the future. And it's that normally we have a little intro music, and then I tend to run off of the intro music into the transition music and use the same piece. Well, I'm going to do a different piece of music for the transition, and I'm going to throw it out to the listeners to see if they can get in touch with us to guess what the transition music is. Not the intro, the transition music. So after this little intro, between this and the news, you get your first glimpse of it.
Can we enter?
Yeah, why not? You don't know what it is. Yeah, let's go for it. Now, you can get in touch with us via email, me, Lee, at nintendoreview.co.uk. You can DM our Twitter account at Nintendo_review. Or our Facebook page, Nintendo Review, all one word. And if you want to get onto our Discord server, you'll find information about how to do that from our Facebook page and our Twitter account.
Awesome. So it's not the intro music, so it's these transitions. Yeah. Can they guess what it is? And they can guess now because we're about to go talk about the news. As always, we start with the breadth of games that get announced each week. This week, I actually think this was probably a couple of weeks ago, but we probably got lost in the direct sort of madness. Skybound Games and Beamdog have said that they're kind of joining forces and they're going to release loads of classic sort of the PC role-playing games. Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, what a name. Icewind Dale, bloody hell, they're struggling with that one, weren't they? Planescape Torment, Neverwinter Night, and they're all coming this year, which is a bit bonkers. I played Baldur's Gate. I've not played any of the others. I may have played Neverwinter actually, but
are they Dungeons and Dragons games, or are they just general RPGs?
I just thought it was like tactical RPG. Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't know. I just remember playing them on a
never played any
PC.
of them, so
no. I'm guessing Greg, you've never played any of them either.
None of those I've played. I've never heard it called Baldur's Gate. As far as I was aware, it was Baldur's Gate. I played Dark Alliance.
What's the difference between the two? Sorry. I'm Northern. Baldur's. What do you call it? Boulders?
Baldur's Gate.
No head. Bald.
Baldur.
Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance a wee bit.
What's Baldur's Gate? Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, it was alright. I never finished it. And I actually tried to go back to it recently because I thought it's one on the backlog and maybe just try and breeze through it, and played about 5 minutes and just couldn't get into it again. Don't care about any of these.
Nah, same. Do you care about this next game? I downloaded the beta, was it, last night? Trials Rising. I remember them announcing it. I remember it coming out on Xbox and thinking it looked pretty good. And then they announced it for the Switch last year. It's coming out very soon. They've released the beta yesterday. Does this appeal to any of you guys?
Yes, it does. I was waiting for Greg to answer then. Yes, it's got that kind of Ollie Ollie vibe. I did download Ollie Ollie when they just came out and loving it. I've only played the first one again. I haven't kicked into the second one. And this scratches that itch as well, doesn't it? It's got a really good reputation for this type of game, and it's just the expansion pass. You know, this is the kind of big news, is that they're adding over 55 new tracks. Well, I think there's enough in the base pack to be getting on with, and I think I've seen it for about 25 quid at some online retailers as well. So
it's $19.99 digital.
Oh really? Oh, this could be a potential purchase, and if it's holding up well.
I don't know why I'm asking, but Greg?
I've never played a Trials game before. They always kind of looked okay, but I did review Urban Trial Playground, which it's obviously like it's a different series, different company and stuff. Probably like a cheap sort of knockoff, I guess, and that's kind of put me off that sort of type of game because it was pretty average. Like it wasn't that exciting.
But wouldn't that be like being put off by a Mario game by playing some naff 2D platformer? That
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, I guess.
You know this game that's meant to be really good? I played this awful rip-off and it's put me off it. Give it a go. But you haven't downloaded Ollie Ollie yet, so priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities. Yeah, we'll see. Are you gonna? Well, you've downloaded the beta, so what you think of it?
Yeah.
There you go. What a solution. More games. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization Deluxe Edition. What a stupid name that is. Why are we talking about this one, Lee? Why is this on the list?
It's a well thought after, and I've forgotten the name of who's the company does it? Is it Bandai Namco? I think. Anyway, it's a well thought after action RPG in the kind of vein of Xenoblade, but a little bit more action. It's supposed to be very good at what it does. Very anime, very Japanese, and it's coming on April the 25th. One to watch out for.
Okay, fair enough. It's an anime. It's on Netflix, so if you want to get soaked in the world, then you can start there. Hollow Knight. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I thought it's relevant as we sort of briefly mentioned it, but actually it's something we're going to do every month. Are we going to do it every month or every other month?
The original plan was every month.
Okay.
Hollow Knight, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, you can look at it both ways, is a bigger game and lasting longer for the majority of players who are playing it. So that might overrun.
Okay, well, we'll see. But ultimately, what we want to do, we want to start playing through a game either every month. I think maybe every other month. Even if we finish it, having a bit of a breather may be a good idea anyway.
Yeah.
But so every other month we'll play through a game, and all of us will play it. We'll play it, but people on our Discord channel are playing it as well. And we're going to start encouraging people on our Facebook and Twitter and kind of listeners here as well to all play through the same game. And then everyone can send us their sort of opinions or just moments that they particularly loved or hated or anything they want to say, and we'll discuss what we felt about it. We'll kind of talk about what our listeners and readers feel about it as well, and we'll have a bit of a discussion about that game. And the first one is Hollow Knight, which is a game we all owned, and for some reason none of us had really played it, even though it was so critically acclaimed. And this week they announced a free sequel called Hollow Knight Silksong.
It's only free for the backers of the Kickstarter for the original Hollow Knight.
Okay, that's fair enough. So it's not free for any of us. But is it exclusive to Switch? I read it as exclusive to Switch. The console version was exclusive to Switch. Or maybe it's launching first on Switch or something.
Maybe it's launching first on Switch, because it's coming out on the PC as well, so that would mean Steam. There are other console versions, but they haven't been mentioned in this particular flyer.
Yeah, because surely if those people had backed the original game, like it would be unfair of them not to get it as well.
Because backers can choose, it says here, between a code for the Switch or the PC version. You can imagine Xbox backers would be a bit miffed.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just reading about it now, and they've said that it might happen on other consoles.
Oh.
But at the minute, just on Switch.
Then basically it's sold so well on Switch, and the other consoles are a fraction of what is sold, that they don't really care about the other consoles at this moment. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. As a little insight into a little mini preview into the discussion, Hollow Knight discussion episode. All I want to know is, I want to know what you think of that game, although this will reveal all. Will you be tempted to buy it, the sequel?
I think with Hollow Knight being such a big game, and I've put in 16 hours it is, and I'm enjoying it. There's no qualms about that. I am enjoying what I'm playing. A few frustrating moments, dying in strange places and not being able to get back. Aside from those, I have enjoyed it. Do I need more? I've got a lot more to do with Hollow Knight. I'm not be picking this one up anytime soon.
Greg?
I think it's too early to tell at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've thought there'd be more. I'm probably a no at the minute, and that's not a reflection of my opinion of Hollow Knight as such. But if it was weirdly, if it was a 5-hour side story that was played quite differently, because I think you play the Hornet in it.
Yes.
That appealed to me more. I'd rather buy that than a full-on 20, 30 hour sequel, in all honesty. But yeah, okay, anyway, that's coming, so that's exciting. Sega have announced their next Sega Ages game, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, which is a really good game. Are you guys frustrated at how slow this is?
And this piece of news as well, Alice Kid Miracle World, they got a date for Japan. There's no date for the West yet. I think the date in Japan just came out a couple of days ago. It's coming out very soon anyway. So
yeah, they always do this.
It's staggered as well. Yeah, it's just like the NES games, and some make Japan get a few more than we do. But yeah, we're well behind in this Sega Ages stuff as well. Yeah, it's frustratingly slow. But they did say they did have problems in development, and that they will be looking in the future to catching up and getting back on track, as it were.
Some will say Sega have had problems developing games for 35 years.
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated with it. I would just be a little disappointed that none of the games that are coming out are ones that I really want.
Yeah. They said Dreamcast, a few months ago, and it's like, come on, give us something really exciting. It's almost like the NES games in an extent. They're as exciting as most of the NES games, but they're charging us $5.99 each for them. But anyway, it's coming. It's in disappointing new game news. Shovel Knight. Greg won't give a but we do, Lee.
I do.
It's one for me and you. Shovel Knight has been delayed by a few months.
Yeah,
months. It's been delayed about 17 times.
But they reckon this is it. This is the last time it's going to be delayed. But several months at most. That means it was supposed to be coming out in April, early April.
August at
August at the earliest, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where I'm not desperate to play for a new game, but I bloody love Shovel Knight. And also, weirdly, it's like as soon as this comes out and is finished, the sooner they can get working on Shovel Knight 64.
Yeah.
Or Super Shovel Knight, or whatever they want to make next.
Or what they should do, they got that little fighting game on the side called Shovel Showdown. I forgot what it's called. Shovel Showdown, whatever it is. Shovel Knight Showdown. And they could just release that a little bit earlier, Don't lump it all in together. Get that fighting game out. And it's a 4-player local co-op fighting game. And bring the King of Cards later date.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never ever going to play that fighting game, so I don't care about that. But yeah, you'll play it with your son, I guess.
Yeah,
but that's a bit disappointing. And also because I still think the first half of this year, we chatted about this in the direct discussion. The first half of this year is relatively barren. Relatively, and this would have been a nice game to fit in April, May sort of time. But
will you be picking up the amiibo, Darren?
Obviously.
Good man.
I've got Shovel Knight.
Oh, do you? Ah.
Yeah, of course I do. I have them all.
Have you got the most 3 recent ones? Did they arrive? Or was that King K. Rool, Piranha Plant, and I've forgotten the other one.
Ice Climbers.
Ice Climbers, yeah.
Yeah, of course they did. I get them all.
Just can't find them.
Yeah, honestly, I've been away for a couple of days and I come back and my kid is obsessed with lining things up, like really OCD, lining things up. And I come back and I come upstairs or wherever like that, and they're like in some kind of crazy pattern, all my 100 amiibo all lined up in some kind of hypnotic swirl or lined up on the sofa and stuff like that. So I came back and there's like all in the living room and these kind of terrifying serial killer patterns.
At least he hasn't pulled the head off Piranha Plant or something.
No. Well, it was quite funny. He was down when he got them. He was downstairs. And downstairs we've got a hard floor, and upstairs it's all carpeted. So he was downstairs, and he was playing Smash Brothers on the kitchen table, and the table was the stage. And he was with the amiibo, like fighting with them, and then flinging them off the stage. He was doing them in slow-mo. It wasn't like throwing them off. He knows shouldn't do that. But occasionally he dropped them on the hard floor, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, Hugo, if you do that one more time, you're not playing with them. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs where it's soft carpet. So he came up and just throwing them around on the carpet.
Daddy can't see me.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I was like, okay. Anyway, yeah, I've got them. And I'll get these, definitely. In the last bit of new game news, which is not necessarily a new game, but because I'm an eternal optimist, it's pretty much guaranteed. He's pretty much telling us it's a new game. So, Hideaki Itsuno from Capcom, who's doing a press tour for Devil May Cry 5. And he was asked about Dante, because obviously there's a few rumours, people would love him in Smash Brothers and stuff like that. And he was asked by a journalist about him being an Ultimate character. And he bumbled and fluffed his way through the answers so badly, it kind of makes me think maybe Dante is a character. What he said was, well, you think about it, I'm pretty sure that all the characters in Smash at least have some game on a Nintendo platform, right? Well, that's the thing. Devil May Cry has never been on a Nintendo platform. So it seems like the first thing you do would be to get Capcom to put Devil May Cry on a Nintendo platform in some way, shape or form. Whatever game that may be. I mean, that is the worst cover-up. you've ever heard. That's a trilogy coming, isn't it? And Dante's in Smash to me.
You hinted at this as well, didn't you, Greg?
I predicted it a few times actually, that because I mean it's already been on PS3, 360, and I think it's on PS4 as well, and presumably Xbox One as well. I'd say it'd be an easy port job to get that onto the Switch. It makes sense.
I mean, his answer was so fluffed, wasn't it? It was like, what can I formulating his answer? Well, we need a game. Do you reckon it's coming? Do you reckon he is?
A lot of people would like to see Bayonetta versus Dante. It's going to happen.
Do you reckon what loads of teenage boys so they can off to it?
Probably.
What are you thinking? No, I do. It's similar to Joker in a way. A bit of him is like, it's good. It kind of broadens the appeal of Smash. It maybe brings in new players. It's another series for the Nintendo platform that we've never seen. I can see the positive stuff in it, but and ultimately I don't really care. But a little bit of me inside kind of goes, but Smash is a celebration of Nintendo, and there's so many Nintendo characters that I'd love to see still, or more Nintendo sort of. Where you associate with Nintendo a little bit more, but
I would rather something like Apollo Justice, or Phoenix Wright, or Professor Layton, or something. I prefer something more oddball. Dante fits in there, and it's like I don't really know the character either.
He fights anyway. You know, it's funny, and when you see Piranha Plant and Villager and stuff like that, it's like Dante. Oh yeah, well, everybody can already picture how he's going to fight. But when this showed Piranha Plant and Villager and stuff, and Wii Fit Trainer, you're like, what the hell are they going to do with them? Greg, you'd be excited. I guess you predicted it a long time.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on like how attached you are to the series. Like you guys obviously haven't played Devil May Cry before. I played the first one.
I have,
and the first one was okay. I haven't been back to it for a while, but I actually have the trilogy, like the first 3 games on PS2. And I sort of got about midway through the second one and kind of just dropped off. I think the second one's supposed to be pretty poor anyway, but I think I just lost interest at that point. But Dante's like, he's fine, like, bring him on.
Who would you rather? I'd rather Dante than Banjo. No, that's not true.
Give me Banjo.
Yeah, I know, I'd rather Banjo. But it's one of those ones where there's like 50 other characters I'd rather, but whatever. If it gives us a new game for the Switch, then that's fine. But it does kind of, if that is the case, you do think, is it going to be every single one a third party sort of bringing? Is it almost like this kind of like this? The craziness is the fact that these Nintendo fans have never really seen these characters, and we're going to get a game and a character as well. So we will see. More news. Earlier in this week, we love a good rumor. Some of us do anyway. Nintendo doesn't. Podcast guest Nintendo doesn't. Although weirdly, actually, when all the stuff started coming out in the direct, like Mario Maker and Box Boy and the Zelda, it's like a bit of me saw his point in that. Oh, actually, as soon as that Mario Maker 2 was there, I kind of thought, oh god, we're going to see Box Boy, we're going to see this, and we know we're going to get Pikmin 3 in a month or two show up and stuff like that. It does actually ruin the. I actually prefer the vagueness. I like the idea of 3 new games are going to get announced. That excites me because then there can be anything. But Mario Maker 2, 2D Zelda, and Box Boy are going to be at this direct. Ruins it a little bit, doesn't it? But anyway, Imran Khan, the editor of Game Informer, he was on the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show, and he said about Nintendo are definitely reviving a dead and buried game. He said it was officially cancelled, and they're reviving it. And he said he's going to check with a few sources before confirming, but then they'll probably tell everyone what it is. And everyone was thinking about what it could be. Sadness, Donkey Kong Racing, could be a load of things.
Project Hammer.
Project, yeah. I mean, that, actually, when you think of the kind of Joy-Cons, it could have still worked.
It would fit on there. Yeah.
A few people did say Scalebound because of their relationship with Platinum, and it sounds like it is Scalebound. But then a few people. Well, the thing is that this is almost non-news. A few people who used to work at Platinum have said, no, it won't be Scalebound. But they left when Scalebound got cancelled, so how the hell would they know what's happened in the last 2 years?
Yeah, and the culture of the company has changed. They've more Switch focus anyway. There's 2 games from Platinum coming onto the Switch that we know about already: Astral Chain and Bayonetta 3. They've got Bayonetta 1 and 2 on here already. The whole culture could have changed. They could be focusing more on Switch completely. If Nintendo are funding Scalebound,
well, exactly,
they're going to provide the love, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you reckon it's true, Greg?
I don't know if it's Scalebound, but what would you want it to be?
Donkey Kong Racing?
That's the one that popped in my mind. As soon as there's something cancelled, Donkey Kong Racing. Yeah, that could see a comeback.
Yeah. There wasn't necessarily officially cancelled or announced, but there was the screenshot on the box, wasn't there? So it's out there, because there was some games I was like, I'd love it to be that, but it's like, well, that was never. He said it was officially sort of cancelled. I think Donkey Kong Racing is probably the one that's on the line of it wasn't technically officially cancelled. Could be something like Ravenblade from Retro. Maybe that's what they've been working on.
Yeah.
Something like that. What about you, Greg? Have you got something in mind?
No, I'd probably said it'd be interesting to see Donkey Kong Racing as well, probably. Since Mario Kart 9 isn't necessarily inevitable on the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. In Retro, I mean, it's like Retro could have been making Donkey Kong Racing.
Quite possibly.
But I don't know, we'll see. But it's, I mean, where did it's Scalebound come from?
That was from the news in Nintendo Insider. Their sources. And basically it's down to one person. I don't know the name of the person, but that's where it originated from, as Nintendo Insider.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I would say it's probably quite a recent high-profile cancellation, so there's probably like people clamouring for it, I guess. So it's easy to jump onto that one.
We'll see, I guess. Oh, I'll tell you what game I'd like it to be, but it was never officially cancelled. But it got a reveal that it was being made. Mario Wrestling.
Oh yeah. Like the Mario, there was Mario Spikers as well, which it was a dual game. There was the Spikers and the wrestling in one game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they were going to do both in one game, and then they cancelled both. I think they had more screens of the volleyball going on than the wrestling one, but the wrestling, just looking at Mario wearing his Grecian of his head, his head protection and his arm things. You know him and Waluigi squaring off.
Imagine a Strikers
awesome
style
fun.
Wrestling game. Oh, I'd love that. I love wrestling games. Also on the rumour front, Nintendo's favourite, Emily Rogers. Now this did get me excited, I'm not going to lie. She wrote a report for Nintendo World Report saying Nintendo could make its first VR-related announcement as early as this year. She's heard from multiple sources, and that a small select number of traditional first-party titles may receive VR support in the not-so-distant future. That was great. Very shortly after, Go Nintendo, who are not rumour mongers in any... They are literally like a news feed. They're great. What they do is great. They came out very confidently saying, we've had reports from one of our friends, basically, who is bang on every single time. We 100% trust him. And he said, it is coming, and it's a Labo VR kit.
Oh, I didn't know they actually pointed out it was Labo. Okay.
Yeah. He said it's a Labo VR. They're using Labo for it. This got me very excited. I love VR. It was the best thing about the PlayStation 4. Nintendo doing it excites me more, obviously, than most. Even the Labo version was quite exciting, just thinking about it. Greg, how do you feel about VR? How do you feel about this news? Do you think it's true? Give me your verdict.
Well, firstly, I haven't played VR, so I don't have that frame of reference. I would obviously like to try it. I feel like I'm the sort of person that will get sick from playing it.
I think you're definitely the kind of person who'd faint playing it.
The link with Labo doesn't surprise me at all, because you imagine if they're using like the Switch, and presumably the Switch screen or something slid into like a wee, like in a Google Cardboard sort of way or something. You imagine Labo will be sort of more of a cheap and cheerful experience. You're not going to be playing something like Resident Evil 7 on the Switch in VR, but like some sort of more simpler sort of games where you're looking around 3D space and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Do you think it's true?
I think Nintendo will definitely be experimenting with VR stuff.
Like it exists.
It's whether they release something in that field, or we maybe wait another 5 or 10 years and then see something.
And like the Switch Pro or Switch 2 or whatever, like when it's a bit more powerful. Because that's the concern, isn't it? The resolution of the screen and the power. Actually, the power of the console doesn't worry me. Because even if they just focus on really simple experiences, that's fine. The resolution of the screen is a big concern. Because even like high-res phones...
Yeah, that does concern me. You're going to have to split it into two, aren't you? And then you got half of what it is at the moment. Yes, it's nice, it's 720p, but then you split that in half, and then you're looking... Can you imagine Mario Kart 8 running like that? I couldn't. But Labo does perfectly fit it. Simpler visuals and just a 3D world. Yeah, lovely.
Joy-Cons. Yeah, but you'd laugh, but actually Stunt Race effects in like like a Star Fox cockpit game, but done in the style of the SNES, where it's just polygons. That's what I mean. It's like Nintendo will do this because they're brilliant at stuff, like using lower tech to create still striking visuals. It's like they won't try and do Resident Evil 7. They won't do Breath of the Wild or that kind of style in VR. It will be like what. So in a way, that's what gives me confidence, even on a low-res screen, that they'll probably still pull it off. Because I've got the Virtual Boy. I've played the Virtual Boy. It's higher res than that. So it's like it's doable. I think it'll be fine. And then if they release a Switch Pro, then they can like up the resolution and maybe so it's all. It makes so much sense, and I think it's great. I'd love to see what they're going to do with it and create like a little.
Do you think there's a possibility of bringing like 3D, kind of like a 3DS kind of 3D effect? So you get a 2D game, but with just a 3D backdrop. So less of looking around, but more you're in that level.
Yeah, that's what the Virtual Boy is.
Yeah.
That's what the Virtual Boy is.
Which would make a lot of sense then.
Bring in the Virtual Boy Virtual Console. Oh my god, how amazing would that be?
Yeah, and I can see that happening then as well.
Amazing. Yeah. I do think Mario Kart 8 will be the title to do it. Even though we just, you said, I can't see it. I think Mario Kart 8 will get updated for virtual, because it's the biggest game on the Switch, and
even when you play split screen, it still runs at 60 frames a second, doesn't it? It's when it goes to the 4-player mode that it runs at 30. So if you kind of split the screen and you have two simultaneous pictures of what just one player's doing, it should run fine. It's like I say, it's about the resolution.
But technically, that's easier than doing two different things in 2-player. It's just the same thing twice.
The same thing twice. Yeah.
So I think Mario Kart will be the standout title, and they've even got the Labo steering wheel. I think it'll be amazing. I think it will be amazing. I mean, Metroid, imagine like a little Metroid first-person shooting, looking around, scanning stuff. It's very exciting, and in the not so distant future, I'd love that. That could fill in the late spring gap.
Mario Wrestling VR.
I'd just be looking up and down Mario's body. Yeah, I think obviously they'll release new experiences for it. It does say like the games that they've already got would get maybe updates. Can you think of any other games that they've got that would work in VR? Like, that'd be pretty decent.
Yeah, Wave Race.
Thing is, Wave Race is like the graphical showpiece for them. Punch Out would be good.
Yeah.
Arms on that front.
Yeah. Anything with a first-person kind of perspective in mind, or a third person behind the character kind of perspective. Yeah, be perfect.
There's a few games on the Switch which have been ported from PSVR, like Thumper. That could probably get updated. Battlezone, that just came out online. It's a good game. I had that on PSVR. Really good.
Tetris Effect's supposed to be really good.
Yes.
Oh, I want
Tetris Effect
now
anyway.
Nintendo are making Tetris games again. There's a potential that could be ported across.
Just on that note again, Tetris 99 is fantastic. I didn't think I'd like it as much.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It was great.
It is amazing. Great segue, because data miners, more leakers, everyone's just leaking everything. Data miners have found extra modes that will be coming very soon, which I think it needs. One of them is Team Battle. So I guess that's...
just like in Fortnite, you split the two teams. Yeah, you split the 99 people into two teams of 48 each.
Yeah.
So you got 98 instead.
Well, but what's the other person doing?
He's shouting.
Referee.
Yeah.
There's Combattle, sounds good. But why not Battle? So you can play friends and battle friends. Why Combattle? We'll find out, I guess.
Single player, local, just in case you haven't got an online match at the moment. It's just nice to be there,
That is the thing that concerns me a wee bit, because obviously there's the buzz. It's just released, so a lot of people are playing it. I'm scared of when the player base drops off a bit. Are there going to be enough people to find those 99 or 98 other people?
Well, it does give you a countdown. So I'm expecting if you only get like 50 players at one time and then the countdown hits 0, I just expect the game to start. But you're going to have a little bit of a longer wait at the beginning. If
they've got these computer AI to be able to play the game in combat, or maybe they'll just fill it with that.
Yeah, hopefully.
The last one is Marathon, Score Attack, 200 lines, or Endless. And that one supports in-game achievements, which I think is good. I think incentive is what the game really needs. But then Fortnite doesn't really accept the kind of... Well, it's got the persistent sort of worlds that's evolving. But my worry is, at some point, what's the point in playing? Other than for the fun of it, which is... Maybe that is enough. But actually, being able to compete against friends, having online leaderboards, doing little incentives and achievements is a good way of doing it. So
meeting up with friends needs to be... Well, you can't, can you? So an inclusion of that would be a system seller.
It would be good. Like, what could they do what Fortnite do? Like reintroduce and rotate modes. Like have like a pairs game where you and a friend can join up and you fight together. And it's like But then how does that work? How do you revive the other player? I mean, that's them to figure out, I guess, isn't it? But to make that work. But it'd be nice to play with friends. And we're just going to end on some sales news very quickly. Civilization 4 Take-Two said it sold significantly exceeded expectations, which is amazing news. The game is phenomenal. I need to get back into it. But also maybe encourage Take-Two to release more games on the system as well. Did you buy it, Lee? Or was it one of those ones?
It's one of those ones I'm waiting for a sale. It's still...
It's on sale now.
Is it? Or in the eShop it is. I don't want the eShop. I've purchased this one physically.
Yeah.
Those trade-in benefits.
Just in case,
exactly.
yeah.
And then we're just going to end... I just thought this was quite interesting. So basically they've sort of revealed loads of stats about demographics and stuff like that, which I think is really good. So obviously at the beginning, so when the Switch first launched, males accounted for 70% of the player base. Don't know if that's that surprising. I don't know. It fits gaming stereotypes.
Yeah.
But now it shifted to almost 50-50, which I think is amazing, because that does go against what people presume is, basically people think like teenage boys or whatever play.
I was quite surprised at the split on PS4. Have a guess what the split... Do you know the split on PS4?
55-45?
It is 55-45. I thought it would even skew towards the males even more.
Exactly, but it is good. But I think it is good. It shows that it isn't this sort of male hobby anymore. And also with the age as well. I mean, I've said this for years. People think gaming is some kind of kiddie hobby. It's like, I think for the past 20 years, the average age of gamers is been in their 20s. And it still is. I mean, the best-selling games are usually 18 plus. Not that stops parents buying kids those games. And it's the same for Switch as well. So the early is definitely in the 20s. So basically, it was like young 20-something exposable income males buying Switches, but it's only 2 years in, and now it's like 50-50 with women. More younger people own them, more older people own them. We've pushed the demographic up a little bit, guys, haven't we? So I just think it's really positive for the industry, actually, that actually it is this sort of like gender sort of neutral sort of hobby now, and that people of all ages are playing games, and I think it's great news. But that's quite interesting. I need to figure out like what I spend, but saying that people who bought the Switches first play them more often, and the people who bought them later don't play them as much. So the average, for the people who bought them at first, like us, the average gaming time is 11 hours a week. I'm like, is that a lot?
No, that's quite low. I'm hitting over that, well over it.
And that's the serious gamer in this report. People is a lot less than that. 70. This one makes me laugh. The early adopters who spend the money, 80% of early adopters spend over $100 on gaming a year.
A month?
That's meant to be a month, isn't it? Surely that's wrong. And that number is reduced now, which is so that average has gone down. Yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting. There was some stats.
I just find it amazing. You buy a Switch and you buy one game, and that's it. You just you don't spend any more money.
But when you obviously think of the Wii, when people literally bought it with Wii Sports and maybe Wii Fit, maybe Mario Kart, and that was it.
Well, when I was at school, like everybody had a PS2, but in my friend group, pretty much everybody just had the PS2 just to play Pro Evo every year. They didn't play anything else really. Oh yeah, we got some serious time out of Pro Evo. Loads of tournaments and stuff. Good fun.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's all they played really.
That's the thing. When you don't have a job, you get games at Christmas and birthdays. I'd probably get 6 games a year. I've got 6 games a month.
Yeah, as a kid, yeah.
138 games I'm at.
I've forgotten. I haven't counted mine for a while, but yeah, mine's in the 100 now.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure I must have reached it because I was pushing it, and I bought 2 games this year already. So it's like it's getting very close if it's not there yet.
What are you at, Greg?
I'm just trying to picture my screen because whenever you go into like the more game section and just tabs,
How many rows do you have?
I think it's in the 30 somewhere, but there's a few demos in there as well. So yeah, probably around 30, 35.
Mine doesn't include any demos either. I delete them straight away. 35, Greg, sort your life out. Stop playing Rocket League, for God's sake. And finally, sales in Japan. Switch is at 6.9 million. PlayStation's at just over 7.5 million.
That was amazing.
Switch is going to do it this year, isn't it? It'll be outside this year. 3DS just over 24 million. Do you reckon Switch will beat the 3DS?
I think it's too early to say. It needs. Then again, with Pokemon coming out, and if it does come out this year, it'll give it a good run for this money. But it needs subsequent Pokemon games to come out as well, doesn't it?
Well, they'll come out every year, won't they?
And that Switch Mini.
Yeah,
and the Switch Pro.
If they all come out, it'll look pretty good, won't it?
An Xbox One, which includes the S and the X, 100,000.
Why do they even bother in Japan?
Japanese are so racist, aren't they? They don't like that American gear. Oh boy. It'll be interesting to see what Xbox do, because they're doing so much sort of work just making Xbox as a service rather than as a... But they're saying they're going to really commit to the hardware, so interesting to see what they do. But that's it for the news. Did I want to know what you've been playing? No, Lee, me and you have got the same game, so let's save us, and we'll go straight to Greg and hear how he's been getting on with Rocket League.
Actually, the section is called What We've Been Playing, but I think it's maybe more what I haven't been playing.
What haven't you been playing, Greg?
This section's probably not going to last very long. Windjammers. You haven't played it, have you?
No, I haven't. No. I read your Discord chat and all that, and it was a game that I was interested in when it came out, and I feel as if I dodged a bullet.
You might be right. I haven't been playing it because I haven't been able to find an online game any time I've tried. I've tried loads of times. The core game itself, and it kind of works a wee bit like frisbee tennis in a way. You got your two people on the side of the screen. You can select from between 6 different characters, and if you're playing against a computer, which is the only real option if you can't find a match online, you can play with friends, but obviously you need to arrange that beforehand. So you're on both sides of it's basically like a tennis court, and you're throwing the frisbee. There's different buttons. You can do a lob, or you can rotating the analog stick and stuff in certain ways will make the frisbee curve in different directions and stuff. And your timing's important as well. Like if you receive the frisbee and fire it off as soon as you get it at the right moment, you'll fire off a more powerful shot and stuff. So there is different elements of strategy and stuff, but I haven't played it that much to really get to grips with it properly, and that is mainly down to the fact that I haven't been able to get online. The games I have played against a computer, like I say, I haven't really got totally into it yet, but it's almost like I'm just mashing the buttons, because there's a button. The button that you throw with is also a button that if you're not in possession of the frisbee, it's maybe not even called a frisbee, but it probably is. You slide along your half of the court. So I just feel like I'm using that right to slide to grab the frisbee, and then just immediately mashing that button again with whatever direction. And I'm sure there's a lot more nuance to it than what I've experienced, but it's kind of. I've been playing Mario Tennis relatively recently, and they kind of both feel like they're in the same sort of field, and it's not doing anything that Mario Tennis wasn't doing better and giving me more enjoyment from. So it's I bought this in a sale, but it's it doesn't really fill any need for me, and it's a shame that I can't really play it against other people and maybe get into it more and have that competitive edge. I really need to play it with Darren at some point, because we haven't had an opportunity to play yet. But yeah, it's just a shame that you can't find anybody online. Really disappointing.
Yeah, even at launch when it first came out, it was really, really difficult to get online games. But
yeah.
I don't think it's similar at all to Mario Tennis. It's say Rocket League similar to FIFA. Although I actually think Rocket League is more similar to FIFA than Windjammers is to Mario Tennis. But are you saying it more satiates the same sort of urge?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's slightly frustrating, because I'd heard it was supposed to be really, really good. And
it is really, really, really good.
It's alright, Darren. It's alright.
Ridiculous.
We'll play later.
Yeah, let's have a game. It's great. I think it's great. It's not a game you can put hours into, but I think for have half an hour and a few games in it, I think it's great.
Yeah. The one game we played 3 times. I played Clown Fair from Discord a few times, and we did have pretty close games, and it is tense especially when you're getting close to I think it is, you have to get 12 points or something to win a set. So whenever you're edging towards that, you do feel the tension a wee bit, and that obviously adds to the drama. I just wish I felt that a wee bit more when playing it.
But maybe but that's kind of mainly how I play it. Maybe it's just to play with mates, and then you get that. But you can also change the score, so you can have much longer games and stuff like that. So you have sort of different fields depending on how you the kind of score.
Yeah, and the courts are all different as well, because you have, depending on where you throw the frisbee through at either end, you'll get more points. There's a 5-point section, and then I think it's 3-point sections. And depending on what court you pick, they are in different areas, so you have to change your strategy a bit depending on where you're playing. So there's that as well.
Yeah, I think it's good. Is it lessened your excitement for Windjammers 2?
Yes.
Fair enough. We haven't heard anything about that, have we, for ages?
No, it's just gone quiet on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that all you've been playing? Is that?
Well, obviously Hollow Knight, but we're not going to talk about that until...
No, that's fine. I didn't know whether...
a later date, and Rocket League.
Oh, you've been playing that? What's that like?
So it's alright. I'm hoping that the issue we've had with the game closing may be over, because there was an update yesterday, and playing it all last night, didn't experience any problems, so fingers crossed.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so Lee, what game have you been playing?
We've been playing the same game, Darren. I
We have.
reviewed, and I might not be the best person to review this, because you two are the football heads, aren't you? Love a game of soccer, and I'm more of a rugby man, being a Welshman from the south. But I did review New Star Manager, and it's a football simulation management game. But it's like this. It's split into. There was a part of it which I wasn't expecting. It's split into two kind of styles of games. One is the football management simulator, and it does everything you would want from a management simulation, except that it doesn't go in depth like something like Football Manager 2019 would, which you've talked about before, Darren, where it's overly complicated. It's quite a light, easy, friendly. The menus are there, are all touchable on the touch screen, and everything is quite intuitive to use and understand of what things are going on. But then there's a second side to it where you're actually playing a game and you get to kick around the ball on the pitch.
What does it sound like? What a game does that sound like in describing it?
What, kicking the ball around on a pitch?
No, but a little bit of strategy management and a little bit of playing. Nintendo Pocket Football.
Ah, yeah.
Very similar to that.
It's deeper than Nintendo Pocket Football, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's better in every level. But yeah.
Good man,
But it's
you agree.
similar.
So, taking the management kind of simulation in, it does everything, like I said, you could possibly want, you know. You can even build, the money in it, it's called bucks. So you save up your bucks by winning matches, and then you can even build your centre, your stadium, your training centres, your youth centres, your medical facilities, your scouting centres, and you can employ then certain personnel that you can afford to work in these centres as well. So you're not just constantly managing your team, you're managing the whole aspect of everything, including the stadium, its stands, and all the staff, which at first seemed a little daunting, but after a couple of hours on it, it becomes second nature. And then there's obviously your squad to maintain, angry players you've got to manage as well. You know, you've got, I don't know who would be analogous in a real football term, but an angry player who needs to be stroked, and because his skills are good, but you've got to keep them on your side. But not only have you got to keep the players on your side, you've got to keep your investors' boards on your side to get more money from them, the sporting press. And by doing certain little things in the middle of the game, like answering a question correctly from the press, you get these cards as well. So it's like these little mini games within just the management part of it. And by collecting these cards, you can use these cards to upgrade stats and buffs on your players, which was quite nice as well. It's very difficult to keep everything running smoothly at all times, but once you're in game, it also does what other football games do, you know. You got your squad substitutions, you change your formation on the fly, you can change your player positions, the work rate of your team as well, so whether they're defensive, whether they're pushing hard or going on the offense. And the game then splits into two screens. One is your team on the left, and on the right is this dialogue box of the on-screen action. So it's going, oh, you're pressing forward, and then when you press forward, it then flicks through to this dynamic overhead screen, and it's all lag-free. It's all, you know, you get straight into the action, but it doesn't play like a traditional football game. It feels to me more like a chess game, because when you don't put any button inputs, the game stops. It gives you time to think about, oh, do I want to put a through ball here? Do I want to pass it? Do I just want to run? And then you press a button to run, and the action starts, and you can see your enemies, the opposing team's defense. You can tell I'm a good football player. Their defense coming in to tackle you, and it's like, all right, you stop again. You drop the button inputs again, and the game freezes, giving you time to think again, which is perfect for me who doesn't know anything. It makes it far more tactical, and then you can tell players to go off on runs and put a through ball through. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to that, I kind of found that it's better to do that with the buttons because it feels more like a traditional football game then when you're using the buttons to do that. But everything else, you can just use the touchscreen. And you can flick between the buttons on the touchscreen at any time you want, and it's flawless as well, lag-free. I enjoyed my time with it, surprisingly. I was expecting it to be a middling game, and it was surprisingly hard to put down. I wish I could spend, now we've got playing Hollow Knight, I wish I'd go back and play a couple more games. Once you've got your team, and because there's no official FIFA license, but once you know your players and you start in, you want this player and you're giving him extra cards to buff him up and all that, you want him to start working a bit harder, you'll end up having one match and then you'll have another match and then the season's passed and it's like, oh, I'm ready for another season now. I'm well happy with it. Very good.
What is there any? Do you have any niggles, or because you give it 3.5 on the site?
Yeah.
Is it more just because you don't like football?
One is because I found it initially daunting. There's a lot going on at one side, and it didn't quite hit that 4 mark.
Yeah.
The actual on-pitch stuff is a little finicky. When you go for a shot, for example, it goes to this first person and the ball is bouncing across the screen. You've got to press Y at the right time, and if you weren't pointing in the right direction, you have to take that into consideration and curling the ball, and it's just a little too finicky at times. The management side of it probably does deserve a 4, I think. But it's the on-screen pitch stuff which I think dragged it down a little bit.
That's fair enough. I've been playing this as well a lot, a terrifying amount as well. I reckon now as well. Like yesterday, I was totting it up, and it's about 25 hours.
Wow!
I've been playing it a lot this morning. It's probably closer to 30 hours. I haven't even played it for 10 days yet. So the Switch isn't telling me how long it's been. So I went through the. I've been away, so it's good. I've been on planes and I've been in hotel rooms and stuff. That's my excuse. Although I'm just playing it all the time because it's really addictive. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think that straight away. I think you kind of alluded to it. It's like, well, it doesn't have the official license, but it's sort of. So there's no players, nobody you recognise it, but the teams are so. But there's like a letter missing.
Yeah. So
it'll be like Liverpool. So it's like Pro Evo. But so just take a letter out basically of normal teams, and you can change your name. So I've changed my name to Spurs, and I've even created a cockerel flag with the ball. It's got quite a decent logo editor, and you can change the kits and stuff. But ultimately, it's not that, and I never expected it to be that. I realised I've actually played. There's one called New Star Player or New Star Soccer on the iPhone, which is where you only play one player. And you've got to make him an international stuff. And I played that, and I love that as well. So, and it plays just as well. And what's weird about it is that it is a football management game, and you can play it and you manage it. But weirdly, it's much more of a strategy game set in the football world than it is. So it's not really like Football Manager. It's like, yeah, you can choose your formation, but there's a choice of 9 formations, and you can't move positions. You can't set fullbacks to bomb on. You can't do anything more than just say 4-3-3, 4-4-2. So all the kind of management is really simple stuff. And I don't mean that as a negative. I'm just saying don't expect like a football management game. I love it for this. I love the fact that it's simple, and then it's pick up and play, and it's perfect for handheld play.
Yeah, that's why I liked it. I think it was nothing too deep. If it was too deep, I'd have just been lost, And yeah, this I could understand and get on with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just fun, but even the kind of the way the kind of management side works, it feels more like a theme park. Like you can set your ticket prices in terms of sometimes the fan, and you've got like a relationship with the fans, and if you set them too high, they don't like it. So it's more like that, like theme park or Sim City or something. And like Lee said, you get cards. So if you do a press conference, it's a bit like a mini game. It asks you. That's like a quiz. So it asks you a question. How many players are injured at the moment? And if you know it, then you get a card which then you can improve the tackling on a player. Or in the last questions like, what's your biggest victory this season? And so it's quite fun actually. And then there's a quiz that you can do team talks at halftime and beforehand, and there's like a list of 20 things, and it highlights say 6 green out of the 20, and you've got to remember what those 6 green ones were, and if you get them all right, you give your players a boost before they go on. So it's not like actual management stuff. It's much more, like I say, strategy, just random strategy game stuff. But it's brilliant. It's all fun and it works. And the balancing of it is amazing. Like when you're in it's always slightly challenging to kind of like grow a team and improve your players and stuff like that. So, but the way the players improve and the way you can boost and the speed at which you get better players and the speed at which you develop players is always perfectly in line with rising through the ranks. So it feels like they've judged it perfectly. I just think it's just really addictive. In terms of the on-field stuff, at first, I was a bit like, oh, I never expected this. There was a game on the SNES called Player Manager. Did you ever play it?
Not on the SNES.
I loved it. It's like an even lighter version of that. So can you remember a game called Kickoff, the football game?
Yes, yeah. I played on
Super
Amiga.
Kickoff.
Yeah, Super Kickoff. Yeah.
So Player Manager was like light management game with basically Super Kickoff playing game.
Okay.
And have you ever played any management games, Greg? Like Footy Manager or Championship Manager?
We had Premier Manager 64 for a bit.
Okay.
I have played a wee bit of Championship Manager in the past, but it kind of bores me to tears.
You might like this more because it's so light and fun. It's not as... I love Championship Manager, in all honesty. I love the more in-depth stuff. It's just a different experience for me. But the playing side, it is... At first, I was a bit like, God, this is weird. It's quite slow and it's very bizarre. But actually, the more you get used to it, the better it feels. And then you realise that actually you can send players on runs without passing. Originally, it feels like you send them on a run and then do a through ball and that's it. But actually, you can send any player. It reminded me a little bit of Pro Evo on the Wii, where you can like draw lines on players, and you can actually use your finger and send players in different directions. And when you go up the leagues and you're playing against better opposition, or in a cup competition and you play a higher league, and you're like, oh my god, these players are so much faster and straight. Then you have to be better at the playing side. You have to be better at moving players out of position, and so you can move them away and create space. And it becomes really, really tactical and how you do that.
Because basically your team never scores a goal unless you score it for them. You know, so it's, you have to get good at it. Yeah,
so it's management, and then basically every goal scoring opportunity, you take control of the pitch.
Yeah.
So every free kick or every build up play, and then you figure out how we're going to do this. And actually, the more I played that, the better that got. And then it got too easy, where I could just do... And then I got promoted, and then everybody was harder. And it's like, oh, actually, I've really got to be better at this. And even it's really satisfying, like when you develop players. Like I'm just about to be promoted into the Championship now, so I've had straight promotions every season. And when you get better players, and they get faster, and it's actually, this is actually... It's just getting better. The game is getting better and better and better for me. Because that becomes becoming more fun because it's not slow and sluggish and bizarre. It's actually really pacey, and like I say, it reminds me of the Wii version of Pro Evo. And again, on a really simple level, everything about it is a really simple, fun pick up and play version of other games. But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to it than that. It's just ridiculously addictive. In the same way that a lot of football management games do, and a lot of stuff like playing FIFA does as well, where you play one match and you're like, oh yeah, I'm here. Oh, if I win the next game, then I'll go top of the league or something like that. And then you win that game, or you lose it, and you're like, oh, I can't end on a loss. I'm gonna have one more game, end on a win, and then you win it. And then all of a sudden, summer's here, and you're like, oh, I want to buy loads of players, I want to sell loads, constantly sort your squad out and stuff. So it's very addictive. I think. It is at times, like I said, I put a lot of... It's like, I think I said to you, Greg, and I was like, last night, I think I put about 25 hours into it. And you was like, you could have finished Hollow Knight in that time. And it is going to be one of them. But it's not as much of a time... Weirdly, it's not as much of a time sink. It's more of a time sink than Hollow Knight. But weirdly, like, you put Hollow Knight on, and it's like, that's the serious gaming time. That's what I call serious gaming time, where I'm sat down, I want to play a game. This game, I'm like making a cup of tea, and I have a game. And I've never done that with the Switch. And I hear other people doing it. I never play it. I very rarely play with it in handheld. But now, here you go. I've always got it next to me because I'm like, let's have a quick game. I'm just going to do a bit of work. Or make a cup of tea, make a sandwich, just play a few games. Because you can sort of leave it as well. Once you're in the matches going, you can leave it and it's just like the commentary, and you can see how you're getting on, and then it stops for when you need to kind of take action anyway. So it's perfect for that kind of...
So it sounds like I give it a 3.5. It looks like you're going to give it a 4.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely just going to keep playing it until I win the Champions League and the league with this team. Although I don't know what's going to happen when I'm in the same division as Tottenham. It's going to be weird. Spurs beat Tottenham. But it is good. You can even like build your capacity at the stadium, and you can even build like corner stands, and you got like build your money, and everything's a balance. So Lee said, you have different. So you have like a medical unit, a youth unit, a training pitch, the stadium, and a scouting unit. And you have to build, and you can grow them. So the first one's like a little hut, and then you can build the next version, which is a bigger building, and then the last one is like this grand sort of amazing centre. And then after each game, you can pick a card only one. So you can either pick a training card, which is going to be a skill card to skill up one of your players. You can build a treatment card, which if one of your players is injured, you can then make them recover sooner. You can do a scout card, so they scout a good player for you. You can build get a youth card, so they give you a youth player. And then there's cooldown periods, and you can even develop them. So it's like 8, maybe it takes 8 goes to be able to get another card. And stuff like that. So you can even develop them. So it's like, oh, what do I do if you've got like $100,000 kind of dollars or whatever? It's like, do I buy some players? Do I upgrade my medical unit? Do I what you have to upgrade contracts is another thing, quite a big aspect of the game actually, where it's not like, again, it's like I say, it's not like a football thing. So you sign them up to like 40 matches, and then when they get close, you have to keep adding matches onto them. So and then you have to pay them like quite a lot of money each time you want to upgrade the contract. So it's not like sign up 5 years.
There's even a mini game with a contract thing as well, isn't it? Because you're guessing higher or lower. It's a little higher or lower shirt. The little shirt comes up number 11, or I think a lower. And if you get all those in a row right, you successfully negotiate the contract.
And if you get it wrong, then it's a little bit higher than what their wage was. So it's stuff like, it's like everything has got those little sort of like mini games. So like I say, it's not a football management game. It's a very fun, simple strategy game set in a football world with a really, really interesting little football dynamic to play as well. I think if you like football, it's a no-brainer. Get it. Get it, Greg.
I don't think I'm going to get it. To be honest, it could be one for my brother. He might be into that. I'm not sure if the lack of real players would maybe affect his decision on that one. But watching the gameplay of it reminded me of a game that I do want to get back to and finish, and that's Inazuma 11 on the DS.
Oh, okay. I've never played any of them.
No, I've never played them either. And they've always intrigued me. Mark Evans, his name is, isn't it?
Maybe. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's the goalkeeper, maybe. But yeah, I need to get back to that. I'm probably at the stage where I maybe need to start it again, because there's lots of wee like special moves and stuff that I'm maybe forgotten about and stuff. But just the top-down gameplay and like dragging players around, and then as soon as like you come in contact with somebody else, then you have to do like basically a battle or whatever, come out on top. Yeah, really must get back to that.
Cool. Didn't they announce one for Switch?
Yes, I believe they did.
And if you pre-order bonus, then you get the 3DS one or something like that. But yeah, I've always been interested. Do you think it's good in Inazuma 11?
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
RPG football. Yeah.
I've only played the first one. I haven't played. I'm sure there's quite a few of them. I only ever
3,
played
I think.
the first one. Yeah. But it was pretty decent.
You should think about this. I think you'd like it. I think you'd really like it. But like I say, if it's similar to that, then
I would say it's similar, but I mean, there's obviously like in Inazuma 11, there's like the RPG elements, going around an overworld and stuff.
Did you play Nintendo Pocket Football?
No.
That was good.
Considered picking it up a couple of times, but the moment's gone.
Yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed that as well. I really enjoyed it. And this is quite similar. I think it's better. I think it's really good. But I am almost looking forward. It's so addictive. I'm almost looking forward to completing it. Because I will keep going. I'll keep going. I'm winning the Champions League.
What league are you in now?
I'm at the very end of League One.
That's where Spurs belong.
But I've definitely been promoted to the championship. You start in the like Vauxhall Conference or whatever it's called now. So I've had 2 promotions back to back, battering it.
Oi.
Yeah.
Chelsea are looking for a manager, Darren.
I'll put it on my CV. Got 2 back to back promotions on New Star Manager on the Switch in a few days. Cool. So that's what we've been playing, and we're going to end with Topic of the Week. And the topic of the week is Desert Island Cartridges. So Lee, do you want to explain how this works? I'm sure everyone knows how it works.
Yeah, you're in an airplane, crashes, everybody dies, you swim for it, and you end up on a desert island, and somehow and magically a trunk washes... Well, I'm making all this up, of course. A trunk washes away from... It's been
not a prediction.
And inside the trunk are 5 games. It doesn't matter whether you got this magic console. Basically, you can plug these games into any console and you can play them. But basically, you're on a desert island by yourself, no friends. 5 Nintendo games to accompany you. And then I thought, oh, that's easy. We can answer this. And then we had a few questions from you and Greg to qualify things like, do we have to worry about electricity? No, that's fine. There's the last person who lived on this island. They've put in solar panels. Lovely. Don't have to worry about that. Wi-Fi. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's have some online games. Okay, you can have online games. Because it's Nintendo, there's no voice chat. So you can have online games but no voice chatting. You're supposed to be alone. And the last qualifier basically is there's no double entries from a franchise. So if you pick one Zelda game, you can't pick another one.
I've got a few more questions.
Carry on. I don't know if I can
firstly,
answer them.
if we've got a Switch, all my games are digital on the Switch, so sure I'll have everything on it. You say Desert Island Cartridges, can they be eShop only? Or do they have to be on a cartridge?
No, they can be eShop games. It's a game, basically, yes.
Okay, I do have other questions. So we can play other people online. Do we have access to other news? Like, for example,
Go on, then.
not that I'm going to... Can I...
Can you use Google?
No. Can I see how football's going on?
No.
So I can't?
No, it's the only Wi-Fi and internet access you have are through your games.
Okay, so that rules out one of my games then.
Okay.
I have to know how Tottenham are getting on to
That's the FIFA,
to enjoy this game. So I'm probably going to bin that game off, I reckon. When does this plane crash?
Tomorrow?
No, can it be summer? Can it be in the summer?
Because there's a game that you want that's coming out in the summer. Is that right?
Yeah.
I have the same thing where it's like, if I crash before a certain date, then
Yeah.
yeah.
I took it as you've crashed. You're on the island now.
Now.
Yeah, you just swam and you're standing on the island now. But if you want to extend it to the summer,
Ultimately, the points.
answers.
It'll point. Ultimately, yeah. Okay, cool. Right, let's do it. Who's going first? Are we just going to say our 5, or are we going to do like one each?
I'll
or?
do one each and go and round
Okay.
robin. And you can also throw this out because we have no listeners' questions this week. We can also throw this out to our listeners as well. If you've got a top 5 after listening to our top 5, once again, those contact information, email lee@nintendoreview.co.uk, DM our Twitter account @Nintendo_review, Facebook page Nintendo Review. Drop us your top 5 and we'll mention them next week. Or if you just got a general question for us.
I'll go first.
Go on then.
Because this was a weird one. Obviously, me and Greg ruined everything. It's just a simple game. It's just 5 games. And we're like, I've got 20 questions to caveat to before I made a decision. Because obviously it's famous from like Desert Island Disc, which is music, the music one. The difference between this is that music, what's the longest song in the world? It's like Hey Jude, 7 minutes, or some classical music. It's like, but ultimately it's like short of your favourite films, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's all similar. But games, if you're on this island for a long time, you got a game which is probably your favourite game of all time, but takes you 5 hours to complete. Or are you're gonna be more inclined to pick games which can last you indefinitely. So it's a skew. So it's not necessarily our best 5 games. It's like, what would we want on this island? But I'll start. But saying that, there's still certain games that I couldn't ever not play again.
I've got
Or a
exactly
genre
the
of
same
game.
mentality, yes.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna say 2 because can I start with 2? Is that all right?
Yeah, carry on.
Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. I will take with me.
Right.
I've got to take a Zelda and I've got to take a Mario with me. And they're the biggest Zelda and Mario games there are, and they're the newest, and they've got more content. And if you go back in 5 years' time on this island when you're bored and you're like, I'll play through that again. So I'm going to pick Breath of the Wild and Odyssey as 2 of my favourite games of all time. And you have to, I have to have one of them, one of each of those games. So I thought bundle them in together. They're my first 2.
Okay.
Would be Breath of the Wild.
I struggled with I'm actually still struggling with one of my choices, but
I think Greg's just like, I only need one game, Rocket League.
But like you say, like it's definitely skewed. It's not your 5 favourite games. It's 5 ones that's you're probably going to get a lot of longevity out of and feel fresh every time. But I'm just going to go off your point there with Breath of the Wild. I've said before, it's not my favourite Zelda game, but it's the game I would take with me. If I'm on a desert island, there's so many areas I still have to explore and stuff, shrines to find, and like you'd have obviously so much time just to like explore that world and find its secrets. You'd maybe even go for all 900 Korok seeds.
Exactly. Well, you definitely would, surely.
Yeah. So there'd be so much to do and so many different ways to experiment with things. Like I think, yeah, if I'm going to take a Zelda game with me, then Breath of the Wild is the one.
I've gone slightly different with my Zelda pick, and I really this was the hardest one I think to choose between. I understand where you're coming from with Breath of the Wild, and I ammed and ahed over exactly the same questions and preponderances as you two, but I don't think I could live my life without playing A Link to the Past again. And even though obviously it's a shorter game, it's a game which I could come back to every 2 years or something. It's a game that I would always go back to, and it's got this love of what I had when I was a child. And every time I load it up, and that beginning when it's raining, and you exit the house, and that feeling of that Zelda to me. And without bringing A Link to the Past, I'd probably lose it. You know, go, oh my God, I'd never be able to play Link to the Past ever again.
I say I could probably live the rest of my life quite easily without playing A Link to the Past again.
Alright, you go again then, Greg, 'cause I did too.
Well, I wasn't actually going to start with Zelda because you picked it first, then I just thought I'd go off that. My first pick was actually the easiest pick of all, and it'll be no surprise to you. Rocket League, because it's the game that you could just play it probably forever. Every game you play is fresh. It's just like, I would need a football related game if I'm stuck, but I know like FIFA 19 probably isn't good enough. Whereas Rocket League, I think that would be my sort of football related game, even though it's you're driving cars around. But like, Darren, you and me had games the other night that were just too epic, and you need those ones. I'm actually even going to clarify. Usually sometimes we play in a team of 3 with a guy called Clown Ferret. Not his real name, presumably. He's on our Discord. So we were all together, and I had to go and see to my son for a minute or two. So everybody was sort of waiting around. We got back in and loaded up the team of 3 of us. Clown Ferret had fallen asleep, so we started this game and there was 3 of us, and he just disappeared. And so it was me and Darren were 2 against 3, and I mean, the struggle was real, but we won that game, like, and it's a really satisfying moment when you're sort of like the underdogs and fighting against it. And we felt pretty good about ourselves. And then shortly after that, we started another game, and we really struggled at the start. We're shocked at the start. We were 3-0 down after, like, I don't know, probably less than a minute. And one of the opposition said 3 words that lights the fuse in us more than anything else. The moment somebody says, "What a save," after they've scored, and you've maybe made a wee mistake, or I'm not even sure if we did make a mistake, and he might have said it after every one of their goals. It's like, we need to beat these idiots. So we spammed "What a save" for the rest of that game, but we scored about 3 goals. It must have been about 30 seconds, and we must have hit "What a save" about 400 times, just so much that the guy left. It's just like those sort of moments are just like, I need that on the desert island just to get me through the rest of my life.
Yeah, just if you don't know, I don't know if it's leads confused. So basically, it's a big thing and it's really annoying. And I wanted them to remove it. It's that annoying. So basically, if someone scores, they spam "What a save" in like a really sarcastic way because you didn't save it, or you just missed it, or you scored an own goal or something, and it's just annoying. You're just like, what a child. It's really annoying. And then this guy kept doing it, so we then just took it to another level.
But the main part was that we got our retribution there. But
we won about 6-3 in the end. That's when they were 3-0 up, and then we just battered them. And then after every single time we scored, it was a constant.
We were just inspired by, just as soon as that was happening, I was like, no, we're not sitting down to take that.
We'd have probably lost that game if he didn't just do that. But it was that annoying. It was like, we've got to beat him. We've got to do everything in our power. And then the fact that he left
epic
made it very sweet. So it was immature sort of thing. But yeah, Rocket League. No surprise that that's in there for you, Lee.
It nearly made it in there for me as well. I do like Rocket League. It's a game I don't play often enough, and then when I do play it, I enjoy my time with it a lot. You know, I don't just enjoy my time. I love what I play. But my second one for now, I'm gonna think it's going to be Splatoon 2. I don't think this would be on any of your 2 lists, but it's a game that I always go back to whenever there's a Splatfest. I think the last one, the one with waffles and pancakes, was I was out over the weekend and I couldn't get to it. I'm gutted I couldn't get to it. I always love to play in the Splatfests, and just when the salmon runs on, get on the salmon run and do bits and pieces on that. And it's changed. You know, I've played COD, Call of Duty Online and all that, and that's enjoyable to a certain degree, and I could pretty easily put 50 hours in it. But Splatoon, I've put about 120 hours into it now, and I'm surprised it's so little. I could easily carry on and put another 120 hours into this game. Brilliant fun every time I play it. I wish I could get some more team-based things going, because it's always solo. I always end up going solo and playing against Japanese players, and then it's hit or miss whether or not I'm at their level, and sometimes I'm hammering them and sometimes I'm getting hammered, but it's always fun regardless of what happens.
Yeah. At the risk of jumping in front of Darren, I'm going to surprise you here, and the 5th place on my list is Splatoon 2.
Oh, I'm surprised, Greg.
It's very surprising.
It's a game I don't play, but I felt like I need sort of a kind of shooter, just to add a wee bit more variety to what I already have for the rest of my list. And I debated putting a game on that, like one of those comfort blankets, like you said with the Link to the Past. I debated putting something like that on, but you're stuck here for forever. You need something that's just going to keep delivering, and I haven't played Splatoon 2 that much, but I do like it. I just need to find the time to play it, and if I'm on a desert island, I'm going to find the time to play it.
Okay, well, it's funny you say that it won't be on hours, it's on Greg's, and I've put more hours into Splatoon 2 than you. I've put in well over 150 hours into Splatoon 2. I love Splatoon. I had a batch of games that I didn't know which one to pick. You need like a multiplayer game, so I had my batch of games where it was like FIFA, Rocket League, Mario Kart 8, and Splatoon. I ruled out Mario Kart 8 because I was like, it is amazing, and the fact that there is not going to be a Mario Kart in my list is bonkers. If Mario Kart 9 had just come out, or if Mario Kart 8 was a new game on the Switch, it would probably make it. But I've been through it, and I don't play it that much on the Switch, so I'm not going to play on a desert island. So Mario Kart is not making it, even though it's probably better than most games on this list, but it's not going to make it because it's not. FIFA isn't making it because FIFA Online's good. It's not a great game, but I mainly play it doing Tottenham's games. That's why I asked that question. If I could find out what Tottenham are doing, I'd do it. Then there's the other two games, and Splatoon makes it as well. So all three of us can play that. I was going to choose Mario Maker 2. That's why I asked. That's why I asked when is this playing going down? If it was in August, Mario Maker 2 would have gone in.
The original Mario Maker.
I know, but I don't want to take my Wii U. That wouldn't be in my suitcase.
But this is magical console. You can just plug it in then. No,
I know, and I did think about that. But no one will be making stages on it anymore. Because obviously Mario Maker, that's the reason why I wanted Mario Maker, is it's like, and technically you got an infinite amount of stages to play.
Yeah.
There's always something new, and a bit of me is almost like thinking maybe I should take Mario Maker. But no, I'm not going to. Splatoon makes it over Mario Maker.
Imagine the hours you put into Mario Maker, and you become such a good designer. You'll be employed by Nintendo over Wi-Fi.
Maybe I could make a level which says help and give coordinates to where I am. But so Mario Maker doesn't make it, and Splatoon 2 does make it. So there you go, Lee. Not going to be on any of our lists. It's on all of our lists.
Good.
How many have we done? I've done.
You've done 3. I've done 2. So my third.
Go for it then, Lee.
And this is another one I contemplated for a long, long time, because it's an extremely recent game. But it's a game that I can see already I've fallen in love with. And it's got the potential for the longevity, because just like Mario Maker, there's map creation and other elements and online elements and stuff.
Wargroove makes your list.
Yeah, Wargroove would make my list for the potential of creating my own games, downloading, because you're on Wi-Fi, downloading other people's creations as well. And it's like if it fulfills its potential, and I start once I finish the single player campaign and start downloading other people's campaigns as well, it's going to be like and they're good enough. It's going to be like a never-ending Advance Wars. It's got the potential to be that, and I think in of Advance Wars games and all that, that'd be good because the one on the DS, Dual Strike, is online as well. But Wargroove ticks all the right boxes. Plus, I can make my own maps, my own stories. It would do everything I needed out of a tactical strategy game.
I never thought about Wargroove. That's a very convincing argument, but it didn't make my top 5. I never thought about it, and then that made me think of Civilization, which could be another game you could put hundreds and hundreds of hours in, but that didn't make it either. You've kind of convinced me on Wargroove, but I can't swap it now. I'll say my game because it's Rocket League, so there's nothing to say on it really. It's just a game that you could sort of play forever, and like Greg said, especially when FIFA was definitely out of action, it's like you kind of have to have a football game. So me and Greg have got 3 out of so far. Every one of Greg's is on my list, but I think the next one, Greg, is going to be different.
It has to be different because you ruled both of my last 2 out already from your list. You need a Mario platformer there. You can't can't go without one. And obviously, you said at the start you were talking about summer Mario Maker 2. If I'm stranded, I'm going to be wanting Mario Maker 2 in the summer, but obviously at the moment I have to put Mario Maker 1. Again, I say like I generally prefer like Nintendo created levels, so like a properly structured Mario game, but that's a finite experience. Once you get everything in that, it's done. Whereas Super Mario Maker, download everybody's levels, you spend hours and hours creating your own intricate levels and stuff. I'm more excited to see what they do in the second game, because I think obviously there's going to be loads more you can do that you can't in the first. But if my plane crashes tomorrow, I'm stuck with Mario Maker 1, and that's fine.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just thought I wouldn't have been allowed it, would I? I had Odyssey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I never even thought of
one
that,
or the other.
so, no.
But then again,
No, it makes perfect sense.
Okay, yeah. 2D Mario, 3D Mario. No, they're all Mario.
Yeah. I'm well jealous of you two with your infinite games.
What about this one? This is my fourth. You've both had 4 of you, yeah?
Yeah.
This is my 4th one, and it's another recent one. Just the sheer amount of content, the sheer amount of every time you play it is different. It's exactly the same as Rocket League, it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh my god, I never even thought. Oh my god, I never even thought of that.
Yes, you're going to get sick of it after playing for 4 hours in a row, but what wouldn't you? But every time you load it up and every time you go online, you're going to have a different experience. And just for that, Super Smash Bros. Makes my list. And it's got to be Ultimate, because I'm playing it now and I've fallen in love with it.
How did I not think about that? It's because I did it about 10 minutes before the podcast started. I'm not going to lie. Oh god, that. Obviously, War Group. Oh my god. 5 is impossible. That's not the game. The one I chose is really bloody random.
Monkey Ball.
It'd be Smash Brothers, but I'm going to say this one. Rock Band Beatles.
Really? Okay.
I love music games. I love rhythm games. I'd have the whole band as well. I've got the drums and the guitars. You can increase the difficulty to insane, so you could get really good at it. I'm obsessed with the Beatles. I'd get thousands of hours out of this game. I put hundreds in already. The problem is it's on the Wii and the resolution is so bad. I'd prefer the Xbox 360 version personally, but it's got to be on a Nintendo platform, so I guess we suffer with the Wii. It'd definitely be Smash Brothers. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just looking around, like thinking about what games could last me for ages, and I do love music games. But yeah, so Rock Band Beatles. It's your last one,
that's a big old trunk washing up on the desert island with all those peripherals.
All the kit.
That's what brought the plane down. You'll notice from my list so far, I've got Rocket League, which is on Switch, Splatoon 2, which is on Switch, Breath of the Wild, which is on Switch. If we're going down after June, we've got Mario Maker 2, which is on Switch. My last game is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is on Switch.
Put it on.
So while the Switch still currently probably isn't my favourite console of all time just yet, it's got 5 games I'd want to be stranded on a desert island with.
Yeah, exactly.
Mario Kart 8, obviously, online multiplayer, battle modes. You need Mario Kart there. I mean, Rocket League feels like the football need. Splatoon 2 for the shooting, Mario Maker for the platformer, Breath of the Wild for adventure. So wee bit of racing from Mario Kart just to round things off. Perfect.
Completely.
Not Wave Race Blue Storm.
Understandable.
Yes, I know I'm not going to get to play Wave Race Blue Storm ever again, but I'll always have the memories.
It's hard. I know. It felt sacrilegious not having a Mario Kart game.
I'll build a jet ski on the island.
So paddle on a raft as fast as you can. My last one, and it's between 2, and I'll tell you both of them, and I don't know whether to pull a Darren like he's surprised us with the Beatles rock band. It's either Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or I was thinking of other sports titles that I've enjoyed in the past, and Mario Golf World Tour popped up. I put an insane amount of hours into that on the 3DS, and I wouldn't be a stranger to going back to it and starting from scratch and playing through it all again if the online community was still there and you could get some online action as well.
Hold on, I'll stop you right there. Us 3 need to have a game of Mario Golf.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
What a game.
I was like, why have we not played that?
Yeah.
It's an amazing game.
It's brilliant.
And did you download the N64 courses?
Yes, I got all the DLC stuff. Yeah.
So we've all got everything.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's end this. Let's do it.
And what a game it is! But Mario Kart is still pulling me back. It's Mario Kart, and I'm stuck. If the online community has died, I then choose Mario Kart. Okay, Mario Kart wins. But if I'm living in this fictitious world that I'm living in, it might very well be Mario Golf. Okay, just to be different, I'll go with Mario Golf World Tour.
I haven't got Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. I reckon I'm going to kill myself on this island. And I realise all the mistakes I've made. I'm sat there looking on the Rock Band drum kit, just staring at it. It's like, what have I done?
If I hear Hey Jude again,
what have I done?
Cool. So just very quickly recap. So my top five, five games that I've made a massive mistake with is Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Rock Band Beatles, Splatoon and Rocket League. Greg?
Rocket League, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2, and Breath of the Wild.
No, it's the first one on that low-res gamepad.
Mine were Zelda, Link to the Past. My second, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Splatoon 2, Wargroove for the old strategy action RPG stuff, and Mario Golf World Tour.
Cool. And it's originally I was thinking, oh, this is easy, but actually the games you miss off, it's terrifying, isn't it? It's terrifying. Cool. Well, thanks for that, everybody. Like Lee said, we'd love to hear what kind of games that you'd have that we didn't. And either way, we'll speak to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nintendo Review Podcast. If you like our content, please don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, and ask us a question. You can find this very podcast on all good podcast providers such as iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Just search for the Nintendo Review Podcast. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, and our very own website, nintendoreview.co.uk, where you'll find great content such as news, reviews, and impressions. Drop by and say hello. Podcast Extras! Podcast Extras!
Disgusting, man.
And I could ask the same question to Greg. How did you go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever you did?
You know what, I don't really get much sleep.
How you feeling about the Champions League, Greg?
In the balance. We haven't played well away from home.
As soon as he came on and was chewing cigarettes on the side of the pitch, I was like, you make me physically ill. Disgusting, man. Right, anyway, on that note, we're just talking about football to get you in the mood to talk about your game, Lee.
What's up, Darren?
No, carry on. Pretend I'm not... Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just waiting for you to.
Disgusting, man.